Hey man, take a look out the window and see what's happening. Hey man, it's swing. It's raining outside, man. Oh, don't worry about it. There's some everything. We'll get into something real nice, you know. Back on the Hey, bro. Hey, buddy.
All right, y'all, this is Dr. Duncan McCollum coming to you live from KSCO today. And that was Jimi Hendrix's beginning of Rainy Day, Dream Away. And maybe on the break, we'll be able to get some of the volume or some of the words on there because, you know, he says it's great to sit back and have it on a rainy day. And there's so much going on right now in our county and in the country and in the world. I got to tell you that it's been very humbling the last couple of weeks treating the patients that come into my office. There's, you know, it's just to see what's going on to my patients that live up in the valley or up in the mountains, down in the flatland. You know, one thing after another, and, you know, the flood after the fire, after COVID, you kind of wonder what's coming next. Well, I believe that there's hope on the horizon. It's time for us to rise above and do what we can to make our lives great and those around us great. You know, diversity, diamonds come out of pressure. You know, coal goes under many, 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 many years of high pressure to become diamonds. And I believe that tenacity is, you know, what we have as Homo sapien. We have tenacity, and we will come out of this thing much better off than we were. It may take a little while, and we might go through some more bumps in the road. But, you know, the main thing is to know that you are what you believe you can be. And, you know, really, if you look around the world, no matter what kind of devastation we have going on, there's somebody that has it worse than us. There's countries that have it a lot worse than us. And, you know, I'm writing my new book. It's New Hope 4. It's in the New Hope series. I'm not going to divulge the title yet because I think it will be better to wait on it. But one thing that I see is, you know, we're here today based on the decisions we've made all our lives, and some decisions that we allowed to be made for us. And what got us here today is not going to get us where we need to be. So the only way that you're going to really excel in an area, in my opinion, is to actually know where you're heading, determine a goal, figure out a destination, and then write it down and then create a plan to get there. You know, it's just, again, it's like setting out on a sailboat heading west and hoping to hit some island or the coast on the other side of the Pacific Ocean, if you're so lucky. But if you don't have the tools necessary, the training necessary to navigate the waters, and, you know, an ability to have backup plans, like if your mechanism on your ship for direction fails, you've got the stars. So, you know, it's so important right now at this time in the history of the United States for us to determine where we are on the planet and make a decision to guide, to know where we want to go in the future. I remember back in the day when I was in so much pain, having broken my back and having no solution given to me. I turned to heavy, heavy drugs, street drugs, and medication. And for many years of my life, from probably sixth grade on up till I was 28, I was heavily sedated um, on my own determinism. The drugs that my mother gave me never worked. The ones that Alice talked about on Go Ask Alice on the White Rabbit album made a lot more sense to me. And growing up in the Bay Area, I saw the Jefferson Airplane play that song many times and on a lot of the pills they were talking about. But the point I want to make here is for many, many years of my life, I was only looking in. So, we kind of joke in the chiropractic profession that the chiropractors is the only profession that circle their wagon and shoot inward. One of the reasons that we only treat 8% of the people on the planet is because we've been fighting amongst ourselves for so long for a small piece of the healthcare profession. And where has it got us? Well, it doesn't matter where it's got us. What have we achieved or not achieved in helping the peoples of Earth live healthier, happier lives? We haven't done a very good job. Individually, a lot of chiropractors are doing relatively okay, but it's not about your own survival. It's about what are you doing to help others, to serve others. Right now, we know that in the United States, we spent $574 billion on medications in 2021. 574 billion. And we spent $4.3 trillion on healthcare. So that's 18% of our gross national product. What is chiropractors part of the gross national product? It's not even a fly on the rear end of an elephant. So what does that mean? It means we're not doing a good enough job on letting people know that they have an innate intelligence in their body, or they have an innate intelligence, and that innate intelligence is the greatest physician that ever lived. And if you can take the interference away from the body, it has the power to heal itself. And that is an amazing quality that has been forgot about or hidden from modern day United States citizens, because we take 70% of all the drugs made in the world, and we're only 4% of the world population. The fear of loss is the greatest motivator there is. People can have, the desire to become this or become that. And, when you look around, there are people like great tennis players or people that are very successful in their field that we're going to watch the 49ers play today. And, Purdy, the quarterback, last of the draft. Nobody really thought he could do anything. All of a sudden fell into the shoes of the quarterback for the 49ers, and he's won 10 straight games or something like that. Pretty amazing. Determination, willingness, and knowing that he knew that he had the power to make something happen. And, that's my message to us all is if we only knew that we could make things happen, and we're our own worst enemy. And the biggest problem we have is right between our ears, that's 6 inches between our ears. So if we can change the way we think, we can change the world. If we can change the way that we look at other people, we can change the world. Gosh, what's her name? I'll think of it in a minute. But at any rate, I'm talking about, I was mentioning about looking in. So when I was heavily sedated on medications because of my pain level that nobody could help, my back pain where I broke it, I got to a point where it wasn't even about the pain. It was about being high and feeling the sensation inside my body. I could feel, when I would do the drugs, it would make my back pain go into the background as I was feeling the sensations running through my veins, through my nervous system, in my skin, and in my brain. And I was addicted to that. And it almost it did own me, and it almost took me. But one day after a near life incident, I was sitting on the couch at my house in front of my musical instruments. And I thought, here I am, this little guy sitting in this little teeny house, in this room in this house, on a block in Seacliff, in this county of Santa Cruz, in the state of California, in the United States of America, on the North American continent, surrounded by 6 other continents with vast oceans around me. And I just started to astro project up so high onto some other planet and look down at how small my life was, how I made this little pinpoint of me, and all I could do was project inward. And only thing that I was affecting was my own life and my own future, and it was not a very good effect. And something happened at that moment. I decided it's time for me to look outward. And I took all those fingers pointing in, and I started to realize there's a big, wide world out there, and I need to be part of it. So I started to take walks. I started to, not that I hadn't walked to the beach, but I looked at the world with different eyes. I looked at it with awe and wonderment. And I thought, wow, what could I do in this world that might be creative? And my life changed at that moment. And I started looking outward, and I started discovering things that I never knew about myself. I couldn't read till I was 28. I was so dyslexic from playing with mercury as a kid, and whatever else, that I just thought my life was wasted. I was so frustrated, and I'd had 2 immediate family members die by the time I was 17. And my story is no different than anybody else. It's just my story. But what about my story is that there were points that things changed that got me to where I am right now, which I'm moving forward. I like where I am, but I have, every year I pick a new word. There's a book called One Word that I recommend you buy and read. It's about 40 pages long, and it takes you through this process of narrowing down what you want to accomplish this year. And there's been various words along the way for me. And it's one word because that one word can give you a command that will set you on the right path without all the confusions that could get in the way to stop you. And so this year, as I went through the process, my one word became expand. So that's my word for 2023, is to expand. Now, what does that mean? It means I want to have a bigger reach out in the world. My purpose is to help as many people as I can realize health through natural means. Along that line, there is my family, my relationships, my business, my patients, trying to expand chiropractic and natural health through the world, working with Dr. Dan Papa, cellular healing giant, with the idea that fix a cell to get well. People are still trying to drug the cell to get well. They're still trying to, medicate the cell. We take 80% of all the opioids made in the world. We take 4% of the world takes 80% of them. And are we any better off for it? No, we're worse off for it, because we're addicted to the opiates, as well as other things. The opiates affect the function of your cell, the function of your brain. And, there's not really much good that comes out of it except for temporary pain relief. In the old days, they gave you morphine when you're on the battlefield about to go out. That's when they would give that to you. So anyway, the show today is called Hope is on the Horizon. We're going to take our first commercial break, and I'll be back in just a couple minutes. Hi, this is Dr. Duncan McCollum, and I have this amazing patient, Gayleen, here, who walked into our office, well, barely walked into our office, and she had a lot of attempts to try to fix her health, and she's had some tremendous changes here. So I was wondering if you would like to just tell our audience about that.
Well, like Dr. McCollum said, I came into the office in December, hardly able to walk and bent over. And within 3 visits, I was standing up straight, walking. I couldn't believe it. That's never happened to me before. It's been a very rough road, but we're getting there, and I'm very grateful.
Yeah, and you had 2 back surgeries as well, right?
Yes, I did. Yep, in 1995. Yeah.
And so they didn't really solve your problem.
No, they didn't.
And you came in, we did some stem cell treatments on you and some chiropractic on you, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So you're happy.
I'm happy. Everyone here is just awesome. They're all here to help you. They're all so sweet. And I'm glad I came here.
Thank you so much, Gayleen. And I just really appreciate you being here as well. You're such a pleasure when you come in.
Yes.
So you should listen to Gayleen, see if we can help your health.
That's right. Anyone that needs help, please come in.
Thank you.
Dream away, let the sun take a holiday. Flowers fade, see the children play.
Okay, this is Dr. Duncan McCollum. I'm back. Jimi Hendrix, Rainy Day, Dream Away. I remember I was in about 7th or 8th grade when Electric Ladyland album came out, and I used to play poker in the park with all my friends. And my friend Johnny McVeigh and I, who I mentioned with the Steve Miller Band the other day, we used to win. We had our certain way of winning, which I won't go into, but everybody had that same way. And every time we would win a bunch of money, we would jump in his dad's Corvette and go over to Berkeley to Durant Street, I think it was called. And there was a record store up there on the 2nd floor, and we'd go in and buy tons of records. And I bought Jimi Hendrix Experience, the English version. And that version was very unique because on the inside of the double album were a whole slew of women, and none of them were wearing any clothes. So as a 7th or 8th grade kid, I thought that was pretty cool. The only problem is one of my friends borrowed that album from me one time, and I've never seen it since. However, I do remember it. So Rainy Day, Dream Away. Ain't no use of getting uptight, just live life your own way. And, that's really it. Jimmy didn't sound very stressed out there, did he? Stress is the major killer on our planet, and it affects your body in 3 ways: physically, chemically, and emotionally. And the chemical response of stress is enough to eat a hole in this table that I'm sitting on. When you got the stress causing your stomach to dysfunction, and the hydrochloric acid, which is a pH of 2, which is pretty bad, in your stomach, can eat a hole in your stomach by worrying. If I took that pH of hydrochloric acid out of my stomach and put it on this hard table, it would eat a hole in it. That's the power of mental stress on your body, on your stomach, on your whole digestive system. Physical stress can, actually what's really interesting, well, physical stress can break bones. Look what happens when you have accidents or injuries or lift too much or play too much sports, like we're going to see the 49ers play today. And chemical stress, I was reading an article today that there's 250 billion tons of chemical pollutants dumped into the environment every year by man. 250 billion tons of chemical pollutants dumped into the environment. A work group, or a environmental industrial group in Europe says that there's 114,000 man-made chemicals dumped into the environment to date, and very few of them have been tested for their effects or safety on human beings. So that's pretty bad, because we're talking about chemical pollutants, 114,000 chemicals and compounds, man-made, dumped into the environment, adding to being part of the 250 billion tons of junk we dump on this planet. And you wonder why our bodies are not getting as well as they used to with just natural things. When I first was out of chiropractic school in the 90s, I could adjust people and they'd get better pretty quickly, just 20, 30 years ago. And then I remember when I was a kid getting adjusted after I finally got carried into a chiropractor's office at 20 after breaking my back at 12, but nobody took an x-ray or knew. People got better. And when I talked to Dr. York, my chiropractor, and when you look at BJ Palmer, I have a thing on my wall in my office from D.D. Palmer, actually. The first chiropractic adjustment was done in 1895 on a patient named Harvey Lillard, who was bending over. He was a janitor and he felt a huge pop in his neck, and for 18 years had lost his hearing. And one day, D.D. Palmer, who was studying magnetic medicine at the time, back in 1895, asked Harvey, as he was cleaning his office, if he could check his spine out, because D.D. had a huge collection of skeletons at that point. And Harvey let him, found a bone protruding, asked if he could put it back into place. Harvey said yes, and he did, and Harvey's hearing returned. Pretty crazy. That is the story of chiropractic. My point being, there was a lot less toxins in the environment then. When we unleash the power of the body via the nervous system by removing spinal nerve interference, which we call subluxation, the body could heal so much quicker. Now, with all these chemical pollutants in our bodies have a much harder time healing. And that's why I started studying with Dr. Dan Papa, because of the ability to detoxify the body at a cellular level at the mitochondria of the cell, which is the energy producing part of each cell. We have 75 to 100 trillion cells in our body, human cells. And the only reason we eat is to feed the individual cell. That individual cell eats glucose or ketones, that's sugar or fat. And glucose is very inflammatory as a food. Fat is very clean burning. It's kind of like burning a fireplace in winter with wet pine. It's very smoky. And if you open the door, your house would get polluted. I'm sure people are burning that up in the mountains right now trying to dry out. But if you had a gas stove and you turn that flame on and it's a nice blue clear flame, that burns so clean. That's how ketones burn in your body. That's how your body burns fat. And it doesn't cause inflammation. The brain loves ketones. The mitochondria burns ketones very cleanly and does not emit toxins back into the cell, which can't get out of a polluted cell wall, causing mutation of the cells, which can cause your bad genes to turn on and chronic disease to turn on. So that's the effect of the 250 billion tons of toxins that we're dumping into the planet every year. So, but hope is on the horizon, which is the name of the show today, because we do know how to clean the body up. We do know how to get those toxins out of the body. We know that heavy metals, such as lead and mercury, are two of the most toxic elements on the planet. They're passed down 4 generations through mom's umbilical blood, because mom gets it from her grandma, from her mom's mom's mom. And if her mom's mom's mom was a gold miner up in the Sierras using mercury to extract gold out of ore, he comes home with the mercury in the clothes that his wife washes, ends up getting the mercury in her body, into her brain, into her cells, into her ovaries, into her blood that's passed on to the next sibling or next child. And this goes on, that child grows up, collects her own mercury and lead, passes it on, which goes to the next generation, her own mercury and lead that goes on. So this is a big problem on our planet, especially because a lot of the symptoms that people have, the chronic inflammation, the fibromyalgias, the multiple sclerosis, the cancers, the eczema, there's all these different conditions basically have one cause, and that cause is a body that's not functioning correctly. There's an innate intelligence inside every one of us that knows how to be and stay healthy. As long as that innate intelligence isn't hampered by stress, mental, physical, or chemical, it can do pretty good. It can do pretty well even with those stresses. How come two twins born from the same mom, same father, grow up, one sickly from the day they're born and the other's healthy, never get sick? Part of it is the genes that they're dealt, but another part of it is the size of the cup of the wastebasket that they were born with. Now let me explain. We all have been born with a certain size cup of maybe a thimble size, a 12-ounce cup, or a gallon. And those are and that is the amount of toxins your body can absorb before it overflows into the blood and can no longer be stored in the fat cells dormant, but it actually runs around in the blood, water soluble, attacking cells and organs and causing frank disease. So, George Burns smoked, chain smoked cigars and drank every day till he was 105, just didn't wake up one day, had a great life. Other people, we know that the most common age group now to get colon cancer are men in their 30s. Well, it used to be you didn't even get a colonoscopy till you were 50. So what's changed? Well, the foods changed dramatically. The stuff put in the foods has changed. The quality of the food, vitamin and mineral wise, has changed. The amount of toxins put on the food has changed. Glyphosate is sprayed liberally, that's Roundup, is sprayed liberally on all of the grains in our country. The GMO food is not recognized by the microbes that try to digest it for us to turn it into edible or digestible nutrients for us. So how long can this go on? How long can your body continue to function well when you're exposed to all these types of stresses? And then we have the mental, emotional stress of incredible flooding in our area, landslides, flooding, you can't get over the hill. The coming off of the throes of a several-year drought where you can't water your garden. And then we have the horrendous fires, which followed 3 years of, a shutdown. And you wonder why people are under stress. Now we have this incredible inflation where, going out and buying anything in the store, we bought a head of lettuce, a head of organic iceberg lettuce, because we like to make the wedge. $7.50 for a head of iceberg lettuce. Organic, granted. It used to be, nobody wanted iceberg lettuce because it was the cheapest lettuce there was and there was no nutrients in it. So it was like, 50 cents a head. What happened? So supply and demand. One of my patients was saying they couldn't find any eggs in their grocery stores. Well, I know where to get them. I'm not telling you, though. You got to find them yourself. Got to watch out for my own. At any rate, this is Dr. Duncan McCollum, McCollum Wellness Radio. I'm so glad for Michael Zwirling and Dave Michaels is on the helm in there for keeping KSCO alive. It's really fun being on the air, but I also really appreciate the comments that you guys give me. If you have any requests, you can always email info@McCollumFamilyChiropractic.com and say, hey, could you talk about this or that? We listened to Gayleen talk about the stem cell machine, this tissue regenerative therapy machine a little while ago. It's a $49 special. It's pretty remarkable what this machine does. And I highly recommend that you try it if you haven't. If you have anything holding you back in your life, like so many times people come in and they go, I have knee pain. What's it stop you from doing? Nothing really. Oh yeah. Did you have any hobbies? Well, I used to play golf. It's not stopping you from playing golf. Well, yeah, I just stopped playing. How about, basketball, walking, getting on the floor. So we end up reducing our reach, reducing how much we want to do based on our physical capability to do that. We shrink smaller and smaller and smaller into our shell. The more we're bombarded with bad news, the more we shrink from reaching out into society. We start to, hide ourselves from the people behind, whatever means you want. Some people behind masks, other people don't leave the house. I remember when I first moved down here from Berkeley in 1973, I would walk down the streets of Berkeley and everybody was walking really fast and nobody'd say hi to you. And I moved to Santa Cruz and everybody would walk, you'd walk by and they'd go, hey, how's it going? You walk down the Pacific Garden Mall, Warmth was playing out in front of the Cooper House and everybody was friendly. It's not like that anymore. You walk down the street, nobody says hi, it's everybody's got so much going on inside their head that they can't look outside enough to give a friendly smile to their neighbor or somebody. And so your assignment today is to say hi to 3 people. Call 3 people you haven't talked to in a while. Now let's make it easier. Call 1, and just realize that our world is it's basically going to be the effects of what we make it. In other words, if we're filled with anxiety and animosity and fear and hate and distrust, then that's what we're going to get. If we can reverse that and look into a mirror and start to think about how good things can be and go, how good can good be? In my office, in front of every phone, we have a mirror. And that mirror is for me and my staff to look at every time we answer the phone. Try picking up a phone and saying, it's a marvelous Monday at McCollum Chiropractic. This is Dr. McCollum. I can help you. Try doing that with a frown on your face. You can't do it. So we have the phone, the camera, or excuse me, the mirror in front of the phone, because my staff and I are committed to helping people live happier, healthier lives. If there's anything we can do to help them, that's our goal. If we don't have a friendly phone call, or when they walk in the door, they don't feel like they're in the right place, we failed them already. So many people go into the doctor's office and there's somebody behind a glass door. They open it up and go, sign here, and slam the door shut. Boy, that's really conducive to, help. So we don't do that in my office. We walk around the desk, shake them with 2 hands, look them in the left eye and say, welcome to McCollum Family Chiropractic. I'm the one that talked to you on the phone. Have a seat right here and we'll get your paperwork. In fact, we have most of it started. Would you like some coffee or tea? Wouldn't you like to be treated nicely sometime in the world? Well, the way we get better is to treat other people better. That's the biggest point I can make. Treat those people the way you would like to be treated and be willing to experience anything. If you can be willing to experience anything, you're going to not ever be disappointed. So I have a friend that was in the healthcare profession. He's now passed on, but he used to say every time a patient got really, really, really well, he would get so excited. But then when a patient didn't get well, he got so depressed. And then he realized, if I do that, I'm going to be ineffective. So I'm going to expect that they get well, and some will, and then some won't. But I'm not going to get disappointed with them not. However, I will continue to try to figure out what they need to do to cross over the barrier and move upward. I talked about fear being the greatest motivator or demotivator there is. People have, and it's really funny. People come in and go so often, well, my back's been hurting for, 15 years or 3 months. And then on the wall, on the other side of the chair that they're looking at the wall, there's a sign that says, The six most common words ever heard in my office are, I thought it would go away. So many times they point at that sign and go, man, that's what I've been thinking all along. And I go, well, you ready to get it to go away? And if they say yes, I say, look, if I can help you, I'm not sure, we can't help everybody, and I'm not sure we can help you yet. Let's gather some information. But if I think I can help you, I will do everything I can to help you. But I have one question. I'll let you know what that question is when I get back from the break. We'll be right back. Thanks.
Hey, this is Dr. Duncan McCollum, and I have this amazing patient, Lauren, here, and she had a few things to say.
Hi, I'm Lauren Spencer, a local realtor, and I've been seeing Duncan for years now. I had a biking accident and he's been adjusting me since then, and it's been amazing. But lately, I've had trouble with my feet, and I'm an avid walker, avid biker, avid golfer, and my feet were aching all the time. And I tried Duncan's TRT machine, which is an amazing stem cell machine that rejuvenates the cells. And my feet, I've had like 3 or 4 sessions with the machine, and my feet are like new, no aches, no pains. It's a miracle. So I really highly recommend Duncan and his chiropractic services, but also that TRT machine. You got to try it. Thanks.
Wow, thanks, Lauren. That was awesome. So we still have the $49 special. Come on in and see if it works for you. Thank you.
Okay, Jimi Hendrix, Rainy Day Dream Away. Next week I'll play a different version. We can hear a little bit more of the words. But as I promised, I would tell you on the other side of the break what the question is I ask my patients, because there's no way I can help anybody if they don't answer this question correctly. So again, I'll say, if I believe I can help you, I'll let you know. We can't always help everybody, but if I believe I can help you, I'm going to do everything in my power to help you or find somebody who can. But I need to ask one question. Are you willing to do everything it takes to get well? If they say no, I can't help them in my office, and I'll let them know, you're not I'll give you the number, or here's a different type of chiropractor or somebody who might just help you get out of pain. But that's just temporary. You might as well take an aspirin or drink a bottle of whiskey, but it's only temporary. So somebody has to want to get well in order to get well. And sometimes they're just not ready. And I understand that. I wasn't ready for years. I polluted myself trying to get out of pain, and then I forgot about the pain and became addicted to what I was trying to take to help me get out of pain. But thank God I got over it. I'm really enjoying the creativeness right now, writing my 7th book, New Hope for ... I've also written, as many of you know, New Hope for Sciatica, Turn Back Your Biological Clock. They're all available on Amazon. I have 4 historical fiction books from California history, also all available on Amazon. But that brings me to a point. And this is a favor to ask of you. If you've enjoyed my show at all over the last 4 years, then perhaps you help me out in a couple different ways. Number one is, and especially if you've come to see me as a chiropractor, the Good Times Best Of is coming up, and it's you have to vote before the 31st of January. So if you feel so compelled and this is true for you, and you care to wish me the best chiropractor, I'd appreciate it. Also, the best author. I was 2nd best in authors last year, the best local author. And then I'm going to get kind of greedy here and say the best radio talk show host. Of course, I've got a huge competition with Dave Michaels in there. So you pick the one you want. Dave's smiling at me. And, may the best man win. We're both love to help people, and we enjoy being out here on the radio waves, trying to make your day a little brighter and a little better. So, new hope's on the horizon. And that means that all you have to do is make a decision to do something different and then put the action steps towards that. So, health wise, if you have any kind of disability, that could be from headaches, knee pain, low back pain, fibromyalgia, digestive disorders, whatever they are. I can tell you one of three things is holding you back from having that improve. Well, the major one is a decision to do something different, because Einstein says if you're doing the same thing and getting the same results, you're probably not got all your marbles. But there's three different things that need to be evaluated and then minimized or eliminated to help your body move forward, so you as a being, as a person on this planet, can achieve the goals that you want or reach for them anyway. So one of them is any physical conditions that are affecting your life or your health. Could be your living condition, could be the work you're doing, it could be old football or soccer injuries that are stopping it's pinching off and cutting the communication from your brain to different organs or limbs of your body, causing discomfort, pain, or dysfunction in general. It could be all of the chemicals that you've been exposed to. I exposed myself to more mind-altering chemicals and body dumbing down chemicals than many people combined. And thank God I'm still here. But I did make a decision at one point to change, and that was everything. Then you've got the emotional and mental aspect. We've been under so much stress for the last 5 years, 4 years from all of this stuff that only the strong survive, but you can be the strong one. You can decide to be strong. Guess what? Are you listening to the show today? You survived. So continue, but improve on it. So many of us, and I've been in the place too, where I feel like I'm a victim of my circumstances or a victim of the world around me. And perhaps I am, and or you are, but the thing is that you can do something to change it. You're here right now. You got here based on all the decisions and circumstances in your life, got you right here where you are today. So if you don't change anything, you're going to be the same place or worse next year. Is change comfortable? Not always. Learning how to read and going to 3 years at Cabrillo and 4 years at chiropractic college was painful. I hated it. But I also hated being a mechanic, bending over with a broken back. So, the thing that went by for me is many years went by, and every anniversary where I worked, I go, God, I hate this job. I've hated this job for 3 years. What if I hate school for 4 years or 5 or 6 years and become a chiropractor? I did, and I'm glad I put that time and effort in. One thing somebody told me many years ago is, I don't care how hard I work today, because when I go to sleep and wake up tomorrow, I don't remember what I did the day before. The pain's gone. But many of us have become so afraid of feeling anything, feeling pain or emotional loss or loss in general, or loss of life, limb, or body. Again, I mentioned the greatest motivator is the fear of loss. So some people fear loss so much they don't even try anything. And it's sad, but it's also a moment to change. All you have to do is click your fingers and just like click your ruby slippers together like Dorothy did and say, there's no place like home, or I'm going to be who I was put on this planet to be. It's time for me to do what I'm supposed to do in this life. And you know what? You can do it. Nothing holding you back but you. Maybe you don't know what it is yet. Dare to dream. dare to write down some dreams and goals. Get out a piece of paper, take a walk, put on your favorite Jimi Hendrix music or whatever it is, and go, gosh, what did I ever aspire to be, do, or have? Is there something that I haven't achieved in this life that I just felt like I could never achieve? And then I would recommend you go, well, I can tell you personally that in the last 3 or 4 months, several people that are close to me or my patients have passed away from one thing or another, and I just go, wow, why are we being so conservative or holding ourselves back from living? One of the songs, Jimi Hendrix song, is the one where it's the velvet ships on the water, or whatever it is, and he goes, a lady rolls herself up to the edge of the sea in her wheelchair, and she says, I wanted to live, so I decided to die, as she took herself out of the wheelchair and threw herself in the ocean or whatever it was. And castles in the sky or castles in the sand. Listen to those things that motivate you and go, what the heck? What am I doing the rest of my life? Why don't I do something I really want to do? If you don't like your job, is it gonna, find something different to do? Your boss may not like it. Your spouse may discourage you, but if you're not happy, do something about it. And if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, right? So I get on the show. I never have much of a planned agenda. I let Innate go through me, and a lot of my experiences during the week or things I hear from my patients or friends or family come to mind. And sometimes I might not make a lot of sense, but I do know one thing, that it's up to you to make a change. Nobody will make the change for you. It's up to you to survive. Nobody's going to help you survive. At the end of the day, it's only you. And when you go out, you're all by yourself, just like you came in. So you might as well make a go of it. It's a new year. It's not yet the 15th. Tomorrow's the 15th. Most people who make New Year's resolutions on the 1st break it by the 11th. So, and then the 15th is to reset your goal. So start early. It's the 14th. Write down something, one thing you want to achieve this year that you haven't achieved and you really wanted to. And then write that, put it on your bathroom mirror where you brush your teeth. Put it on the cabinet where you grab your coffee or cream. Put it on the dashboard where you see it. Put it in your wallet. Put that one thing where it becomes ingrained in your mind and your brain. And then, if you want it bad enough, it will come to fruition. So, and then take the action steps that you need to do to make it happen. One of the things that I have in my office is I have positive statements all over because I need to see them. It's so easy for any of us to lose our focus in a given minute, given second. I see patients come in that are in pain that I felt should have been better by now, and or some people that I just know I can't help. And so those moments I have to really kind of reset my boundaries and just make the decision again that I'm going to do what I can. I mean, I go and I'm going to watch the football game today. I go and I'm a human being. I like to write books. I was up at 2:00 this morning. I wrote from 2 to 4 and then went back to sleep because that's the only time I can think well. It's in between, usually it's 3 to 5 that I write my books. And then I go back to sleep for a couple hours and get up and get my day. But if you don't have enough time, I guarantee you can find the time to do what you want if you really want to make it happen. So as Jimmy Cliff says, you can get it if you really want it. And even though you might have many rivers to cross, which is probably the song I should have played today, many rivers across and I can't seem to find my way over. But, you can get it if you really want it. So that's my message for you today. Hope's on the horizon. If it's to be, it's up to me or up to you, but you need to know where you want to go. Again, come on in for the $49 TRT special. I'd love to meet you. It's so fun to have people come in that say they either saw me online or they listen to me on the radio. And, I always give my new patients one of my books. So if you want a book, come on in and become a new patient. If I can help you, I'll let you know. If I need to refer you to somebody else, I'll let you know that too. But the worst thing that can happen is that you do nothing. So if you do nothing, you're going to be in the same place tomorrow as you are today. So many of you have decided to do something. And even though I know we can't help everybody, we sure do try as much as we can. I interviewed a new doctor the other day and had another meeting with him today. Amazing guy, second generation chiropractor. I went to chiropractic college with his dad, actually. And very, very principled young man. He totally understands what corrective care chiropractic is. He understands that their body has an innate intelligence that can heal the body. He understands that the greatest physician that ever lives right inside each of us. And all we need to do is free the body up of these 3 stresses, whether it's physical, chemical, or mental, emotional, and the body has a chance. Now, who is the body? Are you a body? This is something I've been looking at and writing in my book this morning. Are you a body? Do you have a soul? Do you have a spirit? Or are you a soul? Are you a spirit? I don't think you have a spirit. I think you are a spirit. You wouldn't say, I have a me. Oh yeah, I have a me. No, I am me. No, you don't have a soul. You are your soul. That's you. And that soul has an emanation to survive. It has an impulse for survival. It has the creative ability to get you whatever you want in your life. It can do anything that it decides to do, it being you. So I hope this has been inspirational. I know we have more rain coming. It's a great time for introspective. It's a great time to sit down and write down some goals. Again, one goal. What is the one thing that you'd like to see happen this year? Or what's the one health condition that you'd like to get help with? Call me about that one. Come in and see us, McCollum Family Chiropractic. If you come in on the TRT special this month, and if you call from KSCO, rather than just doing for the $49, I take an x-ray of the affected area, like a knee or a hip or a shoulder, and do a treatment. If you mention the show, I will include the complete spinal x-ray, which is usually $249 on top of the $49, but you'll get all of that for the $49 as my way to incentivize you to do something. Get off the couch, come on in, see if we can make a difference for you. All right, Dr. Duncan McCollum, Jimi Hendrix, Rainy Day, Dream Away, coming at you. I'll see you next week.
Look out the window and see what's happening. It's true. Outside. Don't worry. There's everything. We'll get in this thing real nice,
Right, real quick. Don't think we're gonna make it. See y'all next week.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jason Walker. Situation continues to worsen for President Biden. White House admitting lawyers for Biden found more classified documents at his home in Delaware than previously known. In the meantime, the new chairman of the House Oversight Committee, already starting to hold the president accountable.
Kentucky Republican James Comer has demanded